Come with me on the tasty trail with Benjamin.
Hello, I'm Benjamin and you are on the Tasty Trail in Korea. You know, there is much more in Korean food than just kimchi and rice. There is meat, of course, you know, the Korean barbecue. When we speak about meat, we have to speak about the Hanu or Korean beef, which is a special breed. It's delicious, and that's why nowadays we eat so much of the Hanu or Korean beef in Korea. In the past, of course, oxen were a sacred animal. We didn't have the chance to eat so much beef, but nowadays it changed a lot, and you are going to see that with me today. This is a real-time travel. I am in the beautiful village of Kaepyeong in the county of Hamgyang. Hamgyang County is in the south of Korea, and it's very famous for its scholars, especially Confucian scholars of the Joseon dynasty who used to live in the area, and they had a very special lifestyle. And this lifestyle is in a way preserved in these very beautiful houses that we have still in this very nice village of Kaepyeong. More than 60 houses of that time have been kept almost in the same shape for centuries in this place. The lifestyle of the scholars included, of course, studying, writing poems, enjoying wonderful parties in very nice pavilions, but also eating good food. And that's why we came to understand better the food and especially the food tradition of this Hamgyang County. Here I am, still in the county of Hamgyang, but this time I am in the village of An-imyeon. Hamgyang-gun An-imyeon. Why did I come here? Because it's very famous for the galbichim, the braised short ribs. And we are especially in a famous restaurant, which is maybe the original place, which has been open since 1967, so more than 40 years. Come with me inside, we are going to discover this special dish and the reason why it's so famous in this area. There is a reason why the galbichim is so famous in this village. We think it's because, first, it's an area very famous for the aristocrats. It was full of scholars and aristocrat families. And of course, at that time, I mean during the Joseon era, in the past dynasty, it was only the upper classes which could enjoy the galbichim, the braised short ribs, because of course ribs were very expensive and rare. Second reason, it's because we had in this village, in this area, a very famous cattle market, very famous market for beef. And that may be, I guess, the main reason why we have a lot of restaurants specializing in galbichim, the braised ribs, and also galbitang, which is a short rib soup. Wow. Here they are, the galbichim. Thank you. Wow, look at that. So you know, each house has its own recipe. I've eaten a lot of galbichim and all of them are different. And this one is also very special. So you have some sauce, the broth, and also on the top you have all the vegetables which have been cooked together. So let's have a look at what we have. I see some cucumber, which is very unusual for me in the kalbichim. They have the mushrooms, the pyogobosot mushroom. These are the onions. We have carrots. What else do we have? Let's have a look. Okay, I think that's almost it. And, of course, the ribs with the bones. It seems delicious. Okay, I cannot wait. I have to try it. So, please excuse me. I want to try it first. It's melting as a cream. Very nice combination of flavors. Even the vegetables share the same sweetness and flavor, a light meat flavor, not overwhelming. I like the cucumber in this stew. It's a very good idea. About the kalbichim, we said that around the 1900s, when the Korean royal court declined, the Sura sang, the courtesans or ladies in charge of the table of the king, that we call the Sura sang, were jobless suddenly. Most of them were dismissed, so they had to leave the court and they had to find a job. So what did they do? A little bit what the cooks did during the French Revolution. They left the aristocrats' house and they opened their own restaurants. And people say it was the beginning of the democratization of dishes like the kalbichim, which started to be in restaurants and then slowly on everyday people tables, at least, for special occasions. I'm sure you are like me. You wonder how they do this wonderful kalbichim. So the best is to go in the kitchen and check for their secret recipe. Come with me. Alright, so we take the meat which has been boiling for 2 hours, we put it in the saucepan with the other vegetables, onion, carrot. Then it's the time to add the malt syrup and the soy sauce. 10 minutes boiling with the sauce. And when it's done, after 10 minutes, we can add the green vegetables. Simply here the cucumber and the Welsh onion. And it's going to be ready. I go. Alright, let me help you. The steam of the stew. Wow. Delicious. It melts. That's what we use the cow for this recipe. It's indeed softer. Very nice. Interesting recipe, The one I personally do, the kalbichim at home, completely different recipe. This one is, I think, the basic, the original one. You have other versions more, like complicated. Interesting also as well, it's not a question, but this one is nice. You can see it's really a recipe from the area which has, I think, deep, long roots in history. Very nice. That's the second dish, another specialty of the house and of the area, the kalbitang. This is a soup based on short ribs as well. Look at that. It looks simple, right? A clear consommé, just on the top some Welsh onions and some short ribs. So I have to explain something to meat lovers. When you order this kind of soup in Korea, don't be disappointed. It's not about meat. So sometimes you have small pieces only, this one is a big one, but sometimes very small pieces of meat with bones, and you may be like, what's happening to my soup, you know? It's not a stew, it's not a steak, it's a consommé. Take it as a consommé, as a clear soup. Then you may appreciate it. It's not actually eaten because of the meat. It's eaten because of the taste and the nutrients and the good effect on your diet. And you must appreciate it better with one of these radish kimchi, the kaktugi. Ah. Crispy and spicy. After having this delicious kalbichim, or braised short ribs and kalbitang, it's time, I think, to have a look at what lies behind the recipes. The secret of the recipes, of course, it's the beef, the Korean beef, the hanu. So we are going to go to a farm together and try to see what is it about this hanu, what is the secret of this Korean beef. Let's go. Look at that. We are in Chuncheon province. We are in a stable specialized in hanu. This is the very traditional Korean original cattle, the hanu, or this beautiful golden cattle. You see, in the past they used to be called ilso. The so, meaning the ox, used as a force team, as a force for the work in the fields. So ilso was not eaten, of course. People couldn't afford it, so they were just used as first they were bred as a part of the family, used in the fields, most of the time in the paddy fields, and they were not really eaten unless by the king or the aristocrats. And with the 20th century, we started to breed them for the meat.
콩은 단백질원이고,
단백질,
요거
지방.
목과씨는 지방이고,
알겠습니다.
이 옥수수는
에너지.
에너지고.
오케이.
네, 삼박자가 맞아야 되고, 또 다른 사람들이 안
지푸라기
쓰는
들어가고.
양질의 사료를 만들어내고 있어요.
Oh.
네, 자부심을
So that's
가지고
the
있습니다.
secret of the bone Hanu,
Yeah,
the Hanu of the area, their secret feeding recipe. I won't taste it, I won't try it, but apparently it's very good for them. Look at them, they are beautiful. And now I can understand why this Hanu breed has this special quality. Oh, that's a wonderful tracking system. Very important if you want to have a real appellation. Everybody should be able, at least, I mean, people who buy the meat should be able to know what they are eating and where it comes from. So that's, I think, the basic for a good appellation. And this is a wonderful system because in the Hanu category, you have 6 different grades. All of them are different quality, and you have like more or less expensive qualities, of course. So you have to know what you're buying, actually, and that's a very important system. This is a really scientific way to breed the cattle, and you should see over there. Before the owner showed me, like they have even like a heating system for the water and fans everywhere, like to have a kind of air conditioning system for the summertime. I mean, it's really nice to see the efforts they are doing for us, for the consumer. Okay, now that we know more about the Korean beef or Hanu, we can go on our trail, and now we are entering Damyang. Damyang is in the Chola province, and it's very famous for its bamboo forest and for also the bamboo market. But that's not to the market that we are going. We are going to discover a new kind of food also related to the beef, of course. I'm here in the Damyang bamboo forest. You know, it's a beautiful place that Korean people really love. They come here to have what they call a jungnimyeok, which is actually a bath of bamboo forest bath. What does it mean? Well, people think that the green color of this forest can relieve your stress, and also the beautiful sound of the wind in the leaves have a curing property. That's what they think. And anyway, I don't know if it's true, but it's a beautiful, beautiful and poetic place. You may wonder, what are we going to eat? What kind of food are we going to discover in such a place? But that's exactly what I want to show you now, if you come with me. Here I am in the center of the city of Damyang, and as you can see, if you can read Korean, you have everywhere a word which is tokkalbi, tokkalbi, tokkalbi. What is it? Tokkalbi. It is grilled short rib patties. It's a specialty of the town. You don't have it only in Damyang, but in Damyang it's very, very, very famous. You have it everywhere, and that's what we are going to eat together. So this is a small restaurant, but actually it's the most famous one open since the 60s, very old, and they say the best. 안녕하세요. 안녕하십니까. 예. What's the origin of this dish? Actually, it comes from the royal court food. Once again, because in the past it was the king who could afford to have this kind of dishes. You know, it was made for a special reason, which is easy to understand. The short ribs with the bone are quite difficult to eat with chopsticks. And the king cannot eat with his fingers, of course. So the cooks from the palace had the idea to make this kind of patties, slicing or grounding the meat in advance so that the king can eat it easily. And that's the origin of the kalbi tok. What is the meaning of kalbi tok? Kalbi, it's the short rib. And tok, as you know already, it's the rice cake, because this kind of patties is exactly made with the shape of a rice cake. Let's try it. So, very good. And very nice flavor of garlic and Welsh onion, also soy sauce, a little bit of maybe honey or sugar. We won't know because they won't tell us what's the secret of the seasoning. Wow. So you are going to understand why we are in Damiens, especially Damiens. You can add to the original pleasure of the tok kalbi another one, which is all the dishes prepared with the bamboo. You got it, of course, when we were in the bamboo forest. I'm sure you were already knowing that we are going to have some food with bamboo and bamboo shoots, especially. Look at that. Rice has been cooked with the jujube and ginkgo seeds and also other beans. Second dish. Here we have the bamboo shoots. So the shoots, I've shown you one in the forest, are taken when they are young, cut. Sometimes they are put in a brine to tenderize them or keep them, preserve them. And after, you can cook them in different ways. You can saute and make a side dish. So it can work very well as an anjou, you know, a side dish for alcohol. Delicious. I like the sauce, it's sweet and spicy at the same time. It adds an interesting crispy texture to the table. This one is melting, this one is crispy, this one is a soup, and you know the rice already. So it's a good balance for that. Indeed, it is. Very good. I'm sure you already knew the Korean barbecue. today you discovered one of the secrets of this barbecue. It's the meat, of course, and especially the beef. Not only the beef, the special breed we have in Korea, which is the Hanu, the Korean beef. You saw we have so many cuts in Korea. We have also so many recipes around the beef. It is absolutely something you have to discover when you go to a Korean restaurant. So I wish you to have a delicious experience around the Hanu or Korean beef. Bye bye.